Dubai, and it's the first time that we've been here in the summer. And you can imagine that when I left New Zealand yesterday, in the morning, it has been -1 degree for the last week. So it's quite a difference to come to a country where we had a walk this morning, and by 7:15 it was 38 degrees. So it's a huge change for us. So fabulous. And as ever, there's something about this place that is I don't know what it is, but I look at the light, and it's such a beautiful, fantastic sort of place. So it's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful to see you all and to be in this office again. I think for the second time I've been in this office. So I'm really looking forward to trying to answer your questions as best I can. And if you have got, if I fail to make it clear to you, please just ask me until I get it right. So.
All right, so ready na ba kayo? Let's get the ball rolling. So to get things started, we'd just like to invite some of our business owners here. They have their questions already, so I'll just be calling them one by one, and we'll give the floor, of course, to Peter. Okay, so for question number 1, just like to call on Milets to ask the first question.
Hello everyone, good evening everyone. Are you ready?
Yes.
To start our question and answer with our Managing Director, Mr. Peter Ho. Are you ready?
Ready!
All right, my first question is, for all of you.
Parang game show.
Yes, sir. Para we have the energy, you know? All right, my first question is, why is New Zealand the best? Actually, this is 2 questions. I just asked you both this question, okay? So, why is New Zealand the best country for growing barley grass? And the second one is, what is the significance of alluvial soil?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So barley grass grows in many countries around the world. It grows in the USA, it grows in the United Kingdom, it grows in China, it grows in Japan, it grows in Australia, and it grows in New Zealand. And barley is what's called a temperate plant. So if I planted some barley out here, it would die. It would die out there. If I planted it in the winter and I gave it enough water here, it might survive. And in fact, I think that the barley plant probably evolved in the Middle East. But really, it does best in a cooler climate. And New Zealand has got a climate which is a temperate climate. And it is a very, very suitable climate for barley. So the first thing about New Zealand is that and not all of New Zealand, but the part of New Zealand that we live in, if you look at a map of New Zealand, there's 2 islands, there's the North Island and the South Island. Well, we live on the east coast of the South Island in a place called the Canterbury Plains. And the Canterbury Plains is an area of 750,000 hectares. So it's the largest flat land area in New Zealand, and it is the area where we have been growing barley and wheat and oats in New Zealand for a very long time. So it's a specialist area for growing barley and wheat in New Zealand. And so it is the climate there is sort of cold winters, as I said, in the morning, -1 at this time of year, and quite warm summers. We get a hot day in the summer would be 31 degrees, and it's just like in the Philippines. Bananas just love the Philippines. Pineapples just love particularly pineapples just love the Philippines. Mangoes love the Philippines, right? Because the climate of the Philippines is just right for them. Okay.
Yes.
Can you get that concept?
Yeah.
Well, the climate of Canterbury, New Zealand is just about as good as you can get for Barley. So that's the first thing. Okay, so that would be great in itself, but it's not enough, because what makes New Zealand the best place for growing barley isn't just one thing. It's a number of different factors, okay? Because as I said, there are many countries in the world that can grow barley, and some of them will also claim that they're the best place to grow barley. But New Zealand has a particular set of factors that make it really, really good. So, number one, the climate is ideal. Number two, in Canterbury, where we are growing your barley, the soil that we've got there is what's called alluvial soil. So if you can imagine, the South Island's got a large mountain range running down the centre of it, well, sort of to one side of the centre. And that mountain range is, it's got snow and it's got glaciers on it. And over eons, those mountains have been eroded and they're washed down by the rivers into forming this large plain, which is 750 hectares in size. And that plain is made up of shingle, or basically lots and lots of stones that are hugely deep. And on top of that, there's been more, the rivers have deposited silt, and the wind has blown silt and dust to build up the soil on top of the stones below it. And that's what you call an alluvial plain. So why is that good for barley? Well, barley does not like getting its feet wet. When you plant a barley plant, its roots, so I say its feet, I mean its roots. Its roots, it doesn't like and keep them being wet all the time. If it does, it will die or get disease. When you've got all those stones underneath, when the rain falls or when we irrigate, it drains away quite quickly. So the soil is moist, but not too wet generally. So alluvial plains are really cool for growing barley. Okay, that's the second thing. So we've got these alluvial soils. Number one, we've got a climate that's just right. Number two, that we've got soil that is really just right. Okay. Number three, we're not growing our barley anywhere near large polluted cities or anything like that. If it took 14 hours from me to come from Australia to Dubai. It took another 3 hours for me to come from, or my wife Judy and I to come from New Zealand to Australia. New Zealand is as far away from anywhere as you can get. Okay? So by that, it's a really clean place. The wind is clean. It's not blowing air pollution over the plants. It's a clean place. The rain is clean. Okay, so it's a really beautiful, clean environment for the plants to grow in. So they grow barley in parts of China, but you wouldn't know in parts of China where that barley was been growing next to. It may be growing next to a very large and quite polluted city. What you know is that your product comes from as far away from those things as you could possibly imagine. Number one, the climate. Number two, the soil. Number three, the location is a long, long way from. So the other thing is that now we're getting into the systems that we use to grow the barley. Okay, so in some parts of the world, people grow things like wheat and barley hydroponically indoors. We grow our barley outside in the sun, in the wind, in the rain. And we grow quite large areas of barley. So why is that important? Well, you're growing a business, right? You're becoming you're not becoming, and I shouldn't say you, I should say we. We are the largest and most potent sellers of barley leaf powder in the world right now. Okay, so you need to have a system of growing it that's going to keep up with you. You know, it's no use us saying, "Oh, heck, we've run out of land." You know, we can't. You know, you've just started off in a new country. Well, we haven't got enough land to supply you. We have got plenty of land to grow enough barley for whatever Sante needs to do. Okay, so you could be growing barley in Japan, but you wouldn't have the land to support a country. A company like Sante.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got the climate, you've got the soil, right? You've got a clean, beautiful environment. You've got areas of land that are big enough to support this wonderful company that is so dominant in the world market. Okay, next thing that makes it a good place. The people that grow the barley and are involved in the barley are very, very skilled. Okay, we've all got university degrees in agriculture. So the farmers that are working with the organic system are really, really expert. They are superb at doing what they do. So our thinking around the barley and the plants and things is as good as anywhere in the world. We've got science, we've got thinking about improving what we're doing all the time. We're continuously trying to improve our growing and our intellectual property, if you like, around growing barley. So that's one of the things. We have got very big tractors and very big farming implements. We've got machinery that can cultivate 100 hectares a day and plant 100 hectares a day. So that, again, some countries don't have that. They grow barley, but they don't have that sort of those systems of growing that we have. So another thing, we have got in New Zealand a very fine certified organic system. Okay, so we're certified organic by BioGrow New Zealand, and BioGrow New Zealand is a hugely reputable organisation that makes sure that when we are farming and handling the plant, we are following the rules of certified organic production to the letter. Because every year you have an auditor coming and they sit down and they audit the process all the time. So you can be sure that the process of delivering the product that you take to market is absolutely robust, absolutely honest, and absolutely rigorous.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything more?
Yeah. So actually that's in line with the question that will be asked by John. So John?
Hi, Mr. Peter Hope.
Hello, Mr. Peter Hope, John Espanol again. My next question, I think among what you have said, actually, it's already explained. But for the sake of knowing, for the sake of everyone, among all the suppliers of barley grass around the world, what makes Sante New Zealand the best?
Well, I think the first thing is I've just explained is that the barley that Sante has committed to from day one comes from New Zealand, and New Zealand is, we believe, the best country to grow the plant in the world. Okay, so that's the first thing. So it's coming from a cool place. But further to that, Sante is invested right into the New Zealand industry, okay? And the supply chain from New Zealand right to you guys is completely certified organic. Now that's a really, really important thing. So the farms that grow the barley are certified organic. The people that harvest the barley are certified organic. They put it on a ship, it's sent to Manila. Sante International is certified organic, and the people that work for Sante, putting it in the retail packets, are certified organic. And that means the chain is unbroken from start to finish. Now, there's a lot of people who will say, hey, look, we're buying certified organic barley, okay? But they're not certified organic when they put it in the packet.
Yes.
Okay. Only a company like Sante, who can carry the logo that says this product has never been touched by anybody who's not certified organic from the start of the process to when you hand it over to your customers. Okay. That's unusual. There's nobody I know. There's certainly nobody else in New Zealand who's buying New Zealand barley who is doing that.
So that's how serious Sunday is. Anyway, we're leading towards the BioGo certification, but Sante by far is the only second company outside New Zealand that was certified by BioGo. So, naintindihan niyo, di ba? New Zealand, the farm is certified, the manufacturing facility is certified. But in the Philippines, Sante as a company is certified. So, pinapunta natin yung BioGo sa Philippines.
Wow.
Even the manufacturing facility producing yung mga boxer ng product natin is also certified. So lahat ng aspect ng business natin is certified. What Peter is saying, there are other companies marketing barley, and some of them are claiming that they are certified. They're certified. Pero more often than not, ang certified is the farm. And that's it. Sometimes the manufacturing facility, pero when they go to the Philippines, the companies there are not certified. So we're proud that we're one of the few companies in the world, di ba, that is 100% certified from plant to product. Diba? From the raw material to the finished product. So palakpakan nyo naman yun. So there's a follow-up question here. Josh, you might want to ask on the certification
Okay.
process.
We would like to know, or can you explain to us the certification process of BioGrow?
Okay. So, say there is a farmer who is growing non-certified barley and wheat and raising cattle and doing other things. And they would like to become certified organic. So they have to go through a process of 3 years. Okay, so the first thing they do is they get in touch with BioGrow and they say, I have decided I want to be certified organic. That's not an easy thing to do. If your financial future as a farmer is based on using chemicals and artificial fertilizers, you have to be really, really committed to give that away. Okay? So what they say, the person says, okay, well, I want to be a certified organic farmer. So they go to BioGrow, and the first thing that happens is that BioGrow sends them an auditor, and they do a pre-certification audit. So they look at the farm, they have to have a report from the farmer, and that's some work that I've done for several farmers in the past, helping them prepare their report for BioGrow. And then they say they have to lodge a plan with BioGrow and say, this is how I'm going to farm from now on. Okay, these are the things that I'm going to do. And that means they're going to have to get rid of using any chemical fertilizers, nitrogen, potassium, phosphate, can't use those, right? they're going to get rid of using any chemical sprays, right? So they're going to have to farm in a way that don't have to use those. And they have to do that for 3 years to prove to BioGrow that they can farm that way. Not only that, they have to set aside part of their land for biodiversity, and they have to farm in a way that does no harm to the land, or people for that matter. Okay? So they have to have a whole philosophical change. They need to be totally committed to doing this because their whole livelihood depends on it. And when you start farming in a certified organic way, for a start, your production levels start to go down. Because if you can imagine, if you can put on NPK fertilizer just when you need to, chemical fertilizer, you've got your production. When you take that away, it takes a while for the soil to start to change. They have to start using things like compost, which is natural fertilizer, a fish meal, that's natural fertilizer. So for a start, when they grow their crops, the yield will be a bit lower. So they have to weather that. And then what will happen as the soil starts to regenerate, as the natural process starts to regenerate, they'll get more and more productive. We've found that as you start to convert, production goes down and then it starts to rise. So every year while they're doing that process, the BioGrow auditor comes on and checks once a year to see that they've done, and it's really, really rigorous. They don't just have a walk around. They look at their financial records. They look at what all the inputs that have come into the farm that have gone out. They have to prove that they're totally committed and totally true to the principles of organic production. So 3 years on, they can then put the BioGrow logo on their product.
Actually, question number 5 is related to that, so we don't have to ask that now, siguro. Siguro just a follow-up question, Peter, for them to further understand. Will there be a sort of a regular audit, 3 years, and then you're accredited as a BioGrow certified farm, but what will happen after that? Will there be a re-audit?
Oh, every year, yeah. So
What if they violate? After 1 year or 2 years, BioGrow found out that, there's chemical in here, so what will happen?
okay. So every year, because I have been audited because I've been looking after companies that are certified organic, not as a farmer so much, but as a company. So it's something that makes your hair go grey, because it's really, they come in and it's like the police coming to talk to you. So what happens is the auditor comes on and it'll take for the farmer probably most of the day, and the auditor will come and have a whole lot of questions, and you have to answer all those questions. And if you have, there's two things you can do. You can have what's called a non-critical violation, which means you've made a mistake. Okay, it means that you haven't recorded your records